Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
We talked a lot about Jade Helm here on the show, and you guys can go look at all those very numerous reports we put out about that. And we also saw the clips down in Florida. They're running drills in Fort Lauderdale and Miami and all over the place. And now we have a new one. Special Forces trained with cops for house-to-house raids. And this is out of Fort Bragg, or I guess right outside Fort Bragg in Richland County, South Carolina. And the police were teaming up with the military to do house-to-house drills, saying it's for domestic law enforcement. And the late-night pre-dawn drills and exercises, which involved the 3rd Special Forces Group out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina, have been running since May 5th and will conclude on Friday. And you wonder, what are these guys training for? And that's always the deal. And I've said publicly here before many times that if you want to talk about, potential takeover drill, Jade Helm probably isn't the best interpretation of that. But you can talk about them running drills in Miami, Florida. What cave in Afghanistan looks like Miami, Florida? Same thing when they're running drills out in San Diego when we were running hot and heavy in Iraq and Afghanistan. What are you guys going to do that for? But now we see the military training with the police for this particular operation. And just like when we were talking about with Jade Helm, we had the piece we put out last week where we were comparing and contrasting the Lieutenant Colonel and also Meade. And they were saying, well, no police are going to be involved in this drill. The Lieutenant Colonel said, and then you cut to Meade. He's like, yeah, we're going to have the police stopping our guys and seeing what they're doing. And the Lieutenant Colonel says, well, the role players, they're going to all be military. Then you cut to a clip of Meade. He said, yeah, we're going to get people from the community to come out here and run the drills with us. It's just, they can't seem to get their story straight, regardless of what Jade Helm is. It's just, they keep lying to the public, or at least they can't get the story straight on their end. So how exactly are we supposed to understand it when they can't understand what each other are saying? And then they want to come out and attack you and say that you don't go to their meetings, and even though you try to go to the meetings. For the people who don't know that story, they invited Alex to come on, I believe it was ABC. And he said, yeah, I'll come on there and do a live interview. They say, great, Mr. Jones. And then they say, we want to do a taped interview. He said, I'm not doing a taped interview because you guys can creatively edit the report and make me say anything that you want me to say. I'm not going to do that. And then like 10 minutes before the interview is supposed to kick off, they stop by his house. Hey, Mr. Jones, we're here to pick you up. He's like, the studio's more than 10 minutes away. I'm going to miss the interview. And then they come out and say, well, he was too much of a coward to come on the show. Then you got the, people at Fox News trying to say that he backed out of the interview. And hey, Fox News, ABC, whoever wants to get in on this Jade Helm action, Alex Jones has issued a open invitation. You can come down here to Austin, Texas, or he'll even come to you wherever you are and debate you live on air about Jade Helm. I'm sure you guys don't want to talk about that. You just want to read off your teleprompters and not have any type of real debate with facts or information. All right, let's move on to this. Let's talk about some very important, I guess in our common parlance, we call it domestic terrorism. Because we talk about the FBI being involved in this. We talk about the Justice Department being involved in this. And no, I'm not talking about homegrown extremists, people who want to link up with Al-Qaeda or people who want to blow up federal buildings. The FBI, the Justice Department, and also the FCC have linked arms in a unified front to combat Louie, old-time, good old-fashioned swing music. But hey, I guess these guys are domestic terrorists just along with everybody else, because the FBI is leading an investigation into the song Louie, and they did this because of so-called controversial lyrics. And anybody who's ever heard the song Louie, it doesn't seem very provocative to me, but I guess some people thought it was. And then the FBI, FCC, and all these other groups, they did a search and said, we have to track down these lyrics. They spent 2 years looking for these lyrics and then realized, oh yeah, I guess these things are in the Copyright Office. I mean, yeah, these are your tax dollars at work. Let's not worry about, funding Al-Qaeda or dropping the air grenades to ISIS or running guns into Mexico. Let's not investigate any of that. Or, 1993 World Trade Center bombing where they had, the FBI had the patsy cook the bomb. Let's not talk about any of that. Let's go investigate Louie. So these are your tax dollars hard at work and what they're doing to keep you safe. And we'll end our segment tonight with this before we go on to more special reports. New UK law could criminalize politically incorrect opinions. So basically, over there in the UK, this is a good example to show to people who say, I'm not a criminal because I'm not breaking the law. This is a perfect example to show you that they can instantly change the laws to make anything you do, no matter how benign, a criminal activity. So we'll go out to break with this and come back with more special reports. Stay tuned. This is the Infowars Nightly News. I'm Jakari Jackson, and we'll be back right after this. This is Jakari Jackson for Infowars.com. We have a new article on the site today. New UK law could criminalize politically incorrect opinions. And this is the British Prime Minister David Cameron. And he's saying that if you have a view that, I guess, the state or the populace at large don't like, you could be potentially labeled a criminal. And this also speaks to all the people who say, well, I'm not doing anything illegal, so I have nothing to hide. Well, you don't make the laws. Keep that in mind. You say you're not a criminal. They can make laws at any time that make your activity, even the most benign activity, criminal behavior. And the London Independent quoted Mr. Cameron, and they said it's the creepiest thing David Cameron has ever said. And Mr. Cameron said this: for too long, we have been a passively tolerant society, saying to our citizens, as long as you obey the laws, we will leave you alone. And he ended the quote by saying, this government will conclusively turn the page on this failed approach. And that reminds me of that scene, if you guys ever seen that movie Network.
Please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone.
And that's what Mr. Cameron is doing exactly here. He's saying, I'm not going to leave you alone until you completely get in with what's politically correct in the society. And to talk about political correctness, we all know the recent shooting in Garland, Texas. And it was an attack, and many people in the media were, I wouldn't say supportive of, but they didn't condemn the action of the attackers. It was more or less blame the victim type of deal. You know, and talking about this blaming the victim, because we always hear the stories, you know, unfortunately, you know, somebody will be sexually harassed or raped. There's no excuse to rape somebody regardless of what they have on. You blame the person who did the attack. But in this Garland, Texas deal, they were saying, yes, they pretty much brought it upon themselves because they had this very provocative event where they were encouraging people to draw the Prophet Muhammad. Now, personally, I wouldn't do something like that, but I don't think that people should be executed because of that. Same thing in the Charlie Hebdo. I may not do those actions myself as far as drawing the cartoons, but I don't think those guys have a right to go in there and just blow your head off because they disagree with your point of view. Just keep that in mind. If you are one of these people who always say you have nothing to fear because you're not breaking the law, they could pass a law at any time that makes you a criminal. You can find more reports on Infowars.com.
City of Austin tap water versus filtered City of Austin tap water.
I can taste dirt in it.
God knows what's in this.
This has an aftertaste.
Tastes like Austin water? Yeah, it does. Ugh.
These people just sampled City of Austin tap water straight from the faucet. Next, we had them try a sample of tap water filtered through the ProPure G2.0 filtration system.
High quality H2O.
That one is better.
Tastes like nothing.
Yep, I know what good water tastes like. It's good water.
Most tap water contains added substances like fluoride, chlorine, Monsanto's deadly pesticide, glyphosate, and many others. Studies prove that these substances are linked to an assortment of major health issues, including tooth decay, lowered IQ, and even cancer.
It tastes like you're drinking out of the lake when you're drinking tap water.
Yeah, it has that processed flavor to it.
The ProPure G2.0 filtration system removes these deadly substances and many more, leaving only fresh-tasting, deliciously clean water.
Okay, this is very tasty.
It's good water.
Refreshing.
It's good.
Go to InfoWarsStore.com today. Use promo code WATER and save 10% off your ProPure purchase. Again, that's InfoWarsStore.com or call 1-888-253-3139.